Clarity on Fire, a podcast for people who know what they don't want out of their life and career, but aren't sure what they'd rather be doing.
In a world where it's easy to exist, but hard to feel alive, we, Kristen
and Rachel,
2 certified life and career coaches, are here to help you cut through the information overload, get unstuck, and focus not just on how you can have a career you're passionate about, but how to create a whole life that feels fulfilling.
So join us here, where we serve up inspiration and down-to-earth wisdom in a way that only 2 best friends can.
We want you to experience the relief of knowing that, yes, you're allowed to want more out of your life and career.
And no, you don't have to wander through the dark anymore. Our job is to light the fire that shows you the way. Let's go.
Do you know what show I really missed?
Oh, there's a lot of them. I don't know which one you mean.
Queer Eye.
Oh, yeah, I do miss that show.
I was thinking the other day about the differences between the old Queer Eye and also just those TLC shows like What Not to Wear. I used to be obsessed with those shows in high school and like maybe 10 years ago when they were still playing like What Not to Wear or whatever. And it always, the people who came on there, I was always like, these people need so much more help than just a new outfit. And a lot of the time you could tell these people had issues. Like the reason this woman is wearing what she's wearing is because she's probably had trauma and she's probably trying to like hide her body because she doesn't feel safe. And like,
or she's depressed and she doesn't have any energy to think about this.
Or she's got like one woman washed her face like 20 times a day. I'm like, she has OCD.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just feel like we're not, yes, of course, like having a makeover can really change your perception of yourself, but it's not a makeover for the insides. It's just
and that
for
was
the
original Queer Eye.
It was
really just an outfit change
for like straight guys who didn't know any better.
Right.
You know,
but the new Queer Eye,
I mean, it's a total makeover.
I cry every single episode.
I mean, they really are
all the feels and they address everything. They've got your home. They've got your relationships. They've got your clothes. They've got your health. They've got your hair. They've got your emotions. They actually have a therapist who comes in and deals with the stuff underneath.
Yeah. You and I are always commenting on the exercises Karamo chooses to do with people because I'm like, yes, that is exactly right.
I know, he's so
just
good.
Like, I mean, I'm not a therapist, but as a coach, I'm like, yeah, like I see what he's doing on like a professional level. And I'm like, I respect that.
I always wish I could see the uncut version of like the full
conversation
that
I know they edit it down to like a minute and a half. And I'm like, I know this was a 2-hour conversation.
Professionally, I'm just curious to see what he does, but
Okay, sorry. I had to go stop the dog from barking. I know you heard it for like a second, but I didn't feel like cutting out that whole thing and then redoing it. So anyway, the reason that I brought up Queer Eye was because the new Queer Eye is what we try to do for people in a very different way.
I feel like the old queer Eye is like
what bad coaches do. Let's just call it like it is.
It's what bad coaches do, or it's what happens when you just go read an article on like how to feel more passionate about my work. 3 steps.
On like HuffPo or whatever. Yeah.
Like 3 affirmations to tell yourself to feel joyful
or
again.
You're like some like very dumb surface level self-help book. And it's like, it's like, girl, do this.
You're like, I feel like I see what you're trying to do, but that's not the problem. You didn't hit on the problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the new Queer Eye is like, let's go there.
Yes.
Let's get into it.
Let's be honest. Let's be vulnerable.
Let's hit on all the areas of your life.
Let's get to the root of what's actually holding you back and like cheerlead you and inspire you and like deeply help you change in a way that hopefully it will be sustainable.
And that, I mean, that is coaching. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Good analogy.
So if you like that show and you want to have that feeling, that's kind of the goal.
That is the goal.
Is to walk
That's why you and I love that show so much, I think.
Feeling like a participant on the new Queer Eye.
It's because that's what we love to do. That's what we do.
Yeah. Yeah. So today's the last day of coaching enrollment. We won't officially be doing another coaching enrollment until the fall. So maybe like September-ish, October-ish. So if you've been sitting on the fence, just jump off. have a conversation. No one's asking you to like totally commit. But I mean, so much of why people need those shows and why we love those shows is because the person was finally forced into doing something and then realize once you start doing something, you have all of this momentum and your life starts to change. It's the thinking about it that's usually holding you back. And the like, just the like constant, well, I'm going to just think about it and plan about it for like 3 years. And then maybe I'll do something.
The reason we also like those shows is because those people who they know they need to make a change. Every single one of them on that show or who come into coaching, they know they need to make a change. They know that they're not super happy, but the idea of trying to figure it out on their own just feels so exhausting and overwhelming that we love those shows because we're like, what if a magical fairy just came in the form of Jonathan Van Ness and helped me figure this thing out and just told me what to do and like helped me get to the root of this? Then I would maybe do it. Mm-hmm. And so we want to be your magical fairy, Jonathan Van Nesses in your life.
I mean, I am nothing like JVN, but
no, nothing. But we can have the same level of impact on your life as he does. And we know what to do. We know the first steps to guide you along so you don't have to figure it out on your own. I think that's what a lot of people love when I talk to them in our intro call is I'll explain the process that we're going to go through. And there is a process.
That's another reason we like Queer Eye is because there's a process.
Yes.
They do this and then they do that. And the person doesn't have to think about what they're doing that day. It's like, and today
they're going to be transformed. You know, they're going to be transformed. Right. They go through that process.
Yes.
You can't come out the other side.
No one is like
the same.
They're not going on Queer Eye and they're not being asked, well, what do you think we should do next?
Right.
It's like, no, we're going to go furniture shopping and then we're going to go talk to your mom about your childhood issues. And then we're going to get your hair done. And like, then we're going to like prepare for this speech you have to give. That's
and we're going to get you the right outfit for it. And then you're going to do some therapy exercises.
Right.
Here's what you're going to do.
They don't have to think about it. They're just put through the ringer and they have to show up. They have to like talk. They have to participate, but they don't have to figure out what to do. That is something that people like hands down tell us all the time. Is one of the most attractive things about
our coaching process.
Is that you're not showing up being asked, what do you want to talk about today? Because if you knew, you probably wouldn't need me in the first place.
I've said it before and I will say it again. I know that there is value to what I call a problem of the day coaching.
Which therapy.
Or therapy. Any kind of talking through something where essentially it's like, what do you want to get into today? And that's processing. It's good to process what's going on in your mind and all of that. But when you want to make momentum, when you want to start making changes in your life, just talking about what's on your mind that day doesn't get you there. It just often helps. It just keeps you spinning.
It's often a distraction from the progress.
And so the reason we have a process that we take you through is because we want to build that momentum. We know what the main things are that you need to be focusing on if you want to make the changes in your life that you know you need to make. And we walk you through it. So just know we can be your queer eye. You can be the queer eye in your life where you can't come out of the process the same on the other end.
Yep.
You will be transformed.
So if that sounds good to you, if you'd like to turn your overthinking over to us for a while and just be like, I don't want to do this. Can you please help me? And not tell me what to do necessarily, but put me through a process where I don't have to be the one who figures out when and how much. Like, just if that sounds very attractive to you, fill out the form in the show notes or go to creativeonfire.com, go to the Work With Us tab, and on the one-on-one coaching page, you'll find that form and we'll talk to you about it. And again, I'm not going to try to scare you or convince you or cajole you or charm you into doing coaching. If someone doesn't want to be on Queer Eye, they're not going to be on Queer Eye.
No.
Right? They got to sign a consent form, like they got to be okay with being on TV. You got to be okay with being coached because it's not going to work if you don't want to be there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we want you to be there as much as we want to be there. And if you don't, that's okay. But let's chat about it. No pressure at all.
Reminder. Can I say one thing?
Sure.
The next time we do coaching enrollment, it's going to be significantly more expensive. because we're raising our rates. We're giving ourselves a raise. So if you want to save $200 a month, you're gonna probably want to talk to us now. Mm-hmm. That sounds like a threat. It's just a promise.
It's a fact.
As my dad
I think it's just a fact.
Yeah.
If you want to save a lot of money, you should do that now. And if you're like me and you don't always listen to podcasts on the day that they come out, you might be listening to this after Friday, May 28th, then that's okay. You can get on the wait list.
There's a link in the show notes for that too.
We just don't know exactly when we could get started with you because we're taking on this new wave of clients.
We do work with people in between. It just depends on when we have availability. But you can always put yourself on that form and we'll always reach out after you've done so to let you know what our availability is. It doesn't hurt.
No promises of when we can get started.
Nope. Okay. So that's it. Last day. All right. You ready for another message from the universe? Can I be honest? I'm a little nervous about this one because the last one was so good. I'm not sure we're going to be able to top ourselves.
I don't know if we're going to top it.
So,
well, we're going to choose 3 cards again. And
same deck as last time. I really liked the reading from last time. And so I'm well, let's try to not recreate it, but let's use the same deck. There's so many cards in this deck we still haven't seen. And I want to see more of the cards in this deck, which is probably a hit or miss. Some are going to be like kind of, heavy and some are going to be lighter and more optimistic. So in asking to see them all, I'm asking to see all of
the whole range.
Yeah. So
good and bad. But yeah, we're going to doing our shuffling. And as always, we're going to do 3 cards.
Yeah.
You can choose one of the cards to be your message. So you can choose left, center, or right.
Yeah.
Or you can say, I just want to see how they all fit together and see if there's a bigger message that applies to me.
Well, last time we did past, present, future, and people really liked that.
Well,
you can also do past, present, future.
You get to determine how this applies to you.
Pause if you need to pause. If there's something you particularly want guidance around, pause, think about it, unpause. And if not, well, then you're just going to get what you get. Okay, you ready?
Ready.
Let's start with the card on the left or the past.
Okay.
Protecting treasure.
What number is it?
39. Okay, so there is a young girl or woman, I'm not sure, and she's curled up on a giant treasure chest. There's a crown on top of it. There's a diamond at the foot of it. She's got an umbrella over her and it's raining and there's a bird on top of the umbrella. Again,
wow.
There's a lot. There's mushrooms in the foreground of this. There's a lot going on.
Okay. We will include a picture of this on the post.
I've never seen this card though. So in that way, it is already a success.
I haven't seen this.
The past or left?
There's a quote at the beginning.
Okay.
You are always protected and divinely directed. I like that. And it rhymes too.
Okay.
Although this is a time of great risk, know that at a fundamental level, you are able to move forward safely and securely. The proverbial nest egg is safe and sound no matter the fluctuations in the world. Guardian angels and other guides are whispering to you, making you aware of their protective presence. Your loyalty is an important theme now. Nurture that which you hold dear. This is a good time to strengthen bonds of friendship and ensure their integrity. If you feel tested right now, know that it's a true and loyal heart who always achieves its aim. Take refuge under an angel's wing. You are not alone and have no need to fear. Embrace your courage. Okay. Taking risks, but it's okay to take risks because you're safe. You're being protected.
But it's also the past. So you've already taken a risk if we're interpreting it from the past and your nest egg is safe. I find this hilarious given that Friday is the last day of my part-time gig.
When we're recording this.
Yes.
I know. I was thinking about you.
Okay. All right. Moving on to the middle card or the present. Oh my fucking God, Kristen.
No.
Deep freeze.
Again, we always get that card. What's the number?
26. We had like one time we didn't get this damn card. This card stalks us. Okay. So we got a deep freeze.
And that's the present if you're reading it that way.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Go ahead.
Here we go. Read it again. Everything has its season. Now is the time to put activity on hold while you rest. All right. Well, you're taking a risk. So now you can.
Yeah. You took a rest. You You did the big thing. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
The cold winter beckons you to slow down and put a freeze on things that are not yet ready to bloom. I'm like, we're in spring. Do we have to freeze again?
And what about being a flying magical rainbow horse from last time?
It's time for regeneration and hibernation. Forgo ambitious activity. A pregnant pause allows ideas to gestate, projects to shift and change, and relationships to go through a dreamy state of being, not going anywhere, but not needing to. This is also a time to put all your arguments on ice. Nothing beneficial will come from any of them. Self-care is the most important activity now, so reflect, read a good book, or get a massage. Rest and dream. This card is making me think about my interview recently with Carolyn about feminine energy. So it might be about freezing, or it might just be about stop doing so much and allow
And
more.
also this card is a call out of me in that way, because I very much felt the need to like put a pause on certain things that I've been treating in a more masculine light and trying to shift to being more feminine in that. So yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean do nothing. It just means
this has been a theme in some of our friend conversations recently too, is try doing less and allowing more. So it doesn't necessarily mean nothing's happening. It just means you don't have to be so active.
Yeah.
So that I don't hate. That interpretation I don't hate.
And also sometimes after you take a big risk, as in the first card, you might need
a pause
before
a rest.
Yeah, before you move on to the next thing. So,
well, let's see what the next thing is.
Okay. The future, or the right-hand card, is number 15, One Ring Circus.
One ring. Okay.
It's a rock in the middle of the ocean. There's an elephant on top of the rock, and there's a circus lady on top of the elephant.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. Well, here's a little quote at the beginning. You are capable and competent.
All right.
Start.
Okay.
This is a new card as well. We've never seen this one. Independence is key now as you step into your journey today. Others may not have the vision or resources that you need. Recognize that all the wisdom you've acquired along the way makes you particularly competent and capable of moving forward with assurance. Self-reliance is important. Another aspect to consider is creating and maintaining clear boundaries between you and another. Be discerning about your partnerships at this time. When you know who you are and have a healthy sense of where you end and others begin, you're able to enter into the best kind of relationships and will attract people who mirror back your wholeness. Interdependent relationships are always mutually supportive, stimulating, and transformative. You can achieve anything at this time.
Okay.
So you took a big risk. You're going to take a break. But now you need to figure out what you want to do, not what other people want of you, or not even what you want in partnership. But right now, what do you want? And then the right people are going to show up.
Mm-hmm. What did you say about independence? Independence is at the beginning. Is key right now. Well, that makes sense. If you take a big risk, often you need to pause and like let that assimilate, because otherwise what will happen is like the first card is about protecting your treasure. And then the last card is about One Ring Circus. And it's like, it reminds me of the don't share your ideas with people who aren't ready to hear them, because then you might, it might kind of blow out your spark of creativity. It might be like you took a risk on something. And so you got to be able to walk confidently ahead, knowing I did the right thing. And other people might try to come in and give me doubts about that. But the pregnant pause can actually help you assimilate that, right? Like going inward and not, again, going outward and seeking stuff outside of you. All of these are very like independent kind of cards.
They are. Yes.
Right. They're like
going inward, forging your own way, protecting your resources.
Yeah. Protecting your stuff.
This is definitely a card for empaths too, and people pleasers. There was a particular line here that said, when you know who you are and have a healthy sense of where you end and others begin, then you can enter into the best kind of relationships. You have to pause and go inward to know what that is, so you don't get clouded up by other people's opinions of what you should do.
So I don't know why. I just feel compelled to ask. Sometimes when Madeline does readings, she asks for a clarifier card. I feel like asking for a clarifier card.
Okay.
Just for like the theme of
We've never done that. Let's try it.
Let's try it. Like a clarifier for the theme of like, what's the overarching message here? What's being asked of us, whether it's past, present, future, whatever.
What's the connecting dot? Rachel is shuffling and shifting,
I think it's this one. Another elephant.
Interesting.
Stuck in the mud.
What is the number?
24. Okay, it's probably going to tell me something negative, and I'm going to be like, great. Well, that's not the clarifier that I wanted.
Well, I don't think so, given the first.
Okay, go ahead.
Given the first description. You're being invited to stop and savor the wonder of your life. That's the initial quote we're going into. So. All
right.
So here's our description.
Okay.
Becoming stuck is sometimes the only way to trick yourself into slowing down and looking around you. This is going to go into that deep freeze.
Yeah.
In fact, this is a sign that you need to shift your focus away from what you're doing and place your attention elsewhere. Struggling will only get you to even muddier places. Now is not the time to move forward, but to observe. Clarity about your circumstances will come a little later. Stop and find the joy in what you've been overlooking. Soon, you'll be out of the mud, but for now, be still and know that Spirit has a plan for you.
Okay.
That's pretty clear direction right there.
Yeah.
Be still, don't move forward, observe, and the clarity is going to come.
Okay. I mean, also, I just find it funny that I asked for a clarifier and I got probably the only other elephant card in this deck, right? And we just got elephants. Elephants are, wise, great memories.
They're very empathic.
Steady, loyal.
Very
Back
loyal. The loyal theme.
Loyalty from the first. Loyalty to yourself.
Yes.
And to the process more than to other people is what I'm thinking here. Right?
Yeah, that was good. We saw multiple cards we've never seen.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, that one was a little more, wasn't quite as
subdued,
blatantly obvious. But that's most readings.
But I feel like it went to a hopeful place of you're going to forge an interesting new path and connect with people who are maybe at the level that you're at. If you start out doing what you want to do, you're going to attract the right relationships. You're going to get a lot more clarification if you observe and slow down. I love the thought of sometimes feeling stuck is your intuition's way of being like, just slow down. Stop doing so much. Chill.
Some of you might not like to hear that, but okay. I'll take it. I have to take what I doled out, right? Take my own medicine. Okay. So we'd love to hear comments on that.
We'd love to hear what you thought of that and how it applied to you. I know for some of you, that was exactly what you needed to hear.
And if you didn't like it,
you can let us know that too.
Well, sometimes you don't like it because it is what you needed to hear. And that to be true.
Sometimes
often.
You're like, really, universe? I wanted a different message.
I know.
But I know that that's what I needed.
Yeah. And I think we got the card that kind of mirrored the deep freeze. Like,
it was a little bit emphasizing
this again.
That.
And then it was like, yeah, that again.
Yeah.
As Madeline would say often when she's doing readings and a card comes out that's just exactly the same as what they were just saying. She's like, oh yeah, Spirit's like, we said what we said.
Doubling down.
Yeah, we said what we said.
And we meant it.
Okay. So that's another elephant.
What?
Horton Hears a Who.
Oh yeah.
I said what I meant, and I meant what I said. And elephants, something is never. How does that go?
Oh no.
Hold on. I'm gonna have to. Oh no, I don't have my phone. I can't look it up.
Me neither.
Whatever. It's from Horton Hears a Who. And what you said reminded me of it. And then I realized that was another elephant.
I think we were just supposed to remember the elephant. I don't think remember the words.
No. It was about him babysitting that little bird egg or whatever. That's what Horton Hears a Who is all about.
Yeah.
But
okay. We need to look up the significance of elephants beyond what we've already said.
I mean, I don't know why you need to hear elephants today, but some of you might need to
hear that for some reason.
Is that the title of this episode? Like, it's
elephants
about elephants? I guess.
The elephant in the room.
Yeah. The elephant in the reading. Okay. So reminder about coaching. Last day to sign up to talk to us. And We'll be back, I guess next Friday.
Next Friday with Dear Rachel, I believe.
Yeah. It just seems like a long time from now since we're recording this early.
It is, but it's okay. For you, it's just 1 week.
Okay. We will talk to you then. Let us know what you think about this.
All right. Bye-bye.
But wait,
don't go.
Don't go. Because after we stopped recording, I looked up elephant
spiritual
meaning, and you have to hear this. Okay, you have to hear this. Okay. Elephant, the ever gentle and wise spirit animal, exemplifies focused power and strength. When elephant begins making an appearance in your life, it represents a new, improved relationship with the sacred feminine in all her aspects.
Come on. This is the message.
This is the elephant in the room. Literally. Isn't that interesting? Shamans and light workers tell us that elephant guides us toward a deeper understanding of the maiden, mother, and crone, and helps us reconnect our own positive feminine attributes. Isn't that amazing? Makes sense. Elephants are matriarchal societies.
Yes. This is so good. This is, for those of you who have not listened to my episode with Carolyn about feminine energy, please do that. Because I think what we're being asked to do is one big, giant feminine energy experiment together.
So. I think so.
I think there's going to be very good outcomes, is what we're being wink, wink, hint, hint from the universe letting us know.
Okay. So that was too blatant. And that's forget everything you just heard. That was the message from the universe today. It took us that to get to here. And that's what you really needed to hear. So
love it.
Sorry to those of you who stopped before this part, but maybe they Googled themselves.
Maybe they did.
All right.
And
but anyway,
their own message.
That's what the message is. So with that, we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.